Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, MT. With me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, we've been gone the past couple weeks, so we have a good amount of stuff to catch up on. First, um, a new trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu released today. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about the not trailer that released during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This was the first, supposedly new footage we would have been seeing of this movie since the trailer from last November. Like it's been like a couple of months
It's
since
been
we've
like
heard
4 months.
anything about this movie. What were your, because you actually watched Super Bowl live,
I
right?
did, yes.
Yeah. What were your just initial thoughts when this trailer, in heavy quotations, this trailer was being played?
I mean, I literally didn't even realize what it was for until they showed Mando, and I was like, what is this? And I thought it was like a commercial for something else. Like, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, I thought it was like, I didn't know what for, but I was like, oh, are they gonna do like, how sometimes they'll do like two commercials at once? It's like,
Mm.
like a movie promoting like a product or
Yeah.
something. That's kind of what I thought they were gonna do at first, or like, like, oh, they're like they must be promoting like, I don't know why I thought like Coors Light or something because it's like,
You're
snowy
on
or
the right
something.
track. You're on
So
the
I
right
was like,
track.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. And it's just like, no, they're just sledding. They're just on this like sled thing for some reason. And I was like,
Because
okay, that was something.
so the conceit with that trailer was, what if we do a parody of those old Clydesdale Budweiser commercials that played during the Super
Right.
Bowl in like 2006 that a lot of people don't even really remember happened? Like a parody of those trailers using Tauntauns and Mandalorian and Grogu on a really bad green screen to promote a movie that people already are not like super jazzed about.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like it, it was a choice. I'm sure. I feel like this was something that like people had an idea behind at first, and then like probably should have pivoted from when they realized the first trip. First of all, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but this trailer should have been the first trailer,
Oh,
absolutely.
100%.
But
It was at least better than the first one, yeah.
yeah, by a while. But
Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah, I feel like if you're gonna spend, I mean, not that Disney can't afford it, but like if you're gonna spend millions of dollars on a Super Bowl commercial,
mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you?
It costs at least $8 million to just book the 30-second spot
Right,
on top of the production value of the actual trailer. Well, to
right.
like, you just need a guy in the suit. You don't actually have Pedro on set there, and you have the model for Grogu already established. So they're like, like that's why it's such a terrible green screen, because like, they didn't have much budget left over for
They
the
just spent all the
trailer
money just to get the
for
commercial.
that. But if this were like Deadpool or even something like Stitch, who I think kind of thrives in that ability to kind of break the fourth wall with its marketing and that kind of stuff, I think that would work a lot better. But Star Wars has never ever had that vibe, and especially after the heavy criticisms season 3 had, with people being like, oh, it was a little like it got way more childish. The CG somehow got worse over time. The lighting and green screen effects overall were just worse than they were in season 1 and 2. For this to be presented as this way, with the vast majority of the people seemingly still not realizing that's not actual footage from the movie. That is,
Right.
it's a commercial referencing another commercial that has a Star Wars skin on it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just don't love it. It's kind of like, why? Like, I
Yeah,
don't know. Like, I kind of get what you're going for, but like, I get it kind of, but I'm kind of like, I feel like you didn't have to do that. Just make a quick trailer about the movie.
yeah. And then for that to be pretty much the only like Disney trailer, like there was like a little teaser
Yeah,
for Toy Story, but there was no Avengers, no Spider Man. Like there was a
which
lot
is
of things I was
really surprising.
expecting, but didn't.
Like
Was
that was
weird.
so odd. Like, granted, they don't really need to because I feel like they're big enough on their own that they can kind of just drop whenever they feel like it. But it feels like that breaks the usual tradition.
Yeah, and I guess I would to an extent prefer no trailer over like they did with Supergirl, where it was just a shorter version of the trailer we already have with like maybe one extra shot we hadn't seen, and that was it. Like, why do you spend $8 million just to show stuff you've already
No,
shown?
I mean, yeah, but you gotta, I mean, but also, I mean, I feel like, because everybody's watching the Super Bowl, like statistically, you
I
are. So
guess.
it's like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it makes sense to just, cover your bases and just do it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard some people
But do
mention
it
like
good.
some people mentioned that like why did they release the Lobo teaser 2 weeks before the Super Bowl when you could have like basically combined these together and had like a truncated version of the first Supergirl trailer and then ended with like Lobo's big
The
reveal.
Lobo, like, you can actually see him.
Yeah, I think that would
Yeah,
have
that would
made
have
more
been good.
sense.
That would have been big.
Yeah, and then like the day after you can do like the whole like the whole like Jason Momoa getting into his car like, little sequence and then did like a longer version of that trailer maybe like I feel like there's a better way to do it, but regardless, like even though I feel like that Mandalorian teaser thing in the Super Bowl wasn't like the best reintroduction. We did get a new trailer today, which I think at least did a better job.
Yeah, I mean, I think that did a much better job for a couple of reasons. Because first of all, I think the big thing is like it actually felt like. I mean, I know they kind of like went a little on the nose of the movies, but it felt more like a Star Wars movie, not just a Mandalorian episode, which is good. And I think they did a
Yeah.
lot. They realized kind of what people were complaining about the first time, showed more, like more emotion scenes, more things like that. I think the new characters are good and also like, oh, didn't see that coming. Okay, we're
Yeah.
doing that.
We're
So
getting that one like hat ninja guy from Clone Wars.
yeah,
That's
bro,
cool.
I want to say I don't remember his name, but I do remember his aura. I will say
Yeah.
that because when bro started surfing on the hat
Yeah.
while shooting, I was like, oh, he's like that. Oh
Uh-huh.
no.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then we
Um,
got Zeb back because, Zeb,
Dave Filoni
sure,
likes his
whatever.
toys.
I mean, listen, I get it, man. It's your creation. You use them until it runs
Mhm.
dry. But yeah, well, I'm interested to see how this goes. I'm still not that excited for it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I just feel like the hype for the show is just at an all-time low because it had its peak kind of early, and then it just kind of like season three, the drop from season two's end to season three was really solid as far as like, whoo, we
Yeah.
man, we had some highs, but we're hitting some lows, and
Mhm.
people aren't as interested. The value's gone, like, and Star Wars as a whole kind of lost the interest over the years with kind of the new trilogies issues, and it just kind of lost that fire it had.
Yeah, because season two, I think, is still a very good season of Star Wars television.
Oh yeah,
And then Book of Boba Fett
yeah, I
has
forgot about
flaws.
yeah,
It has
yeah.
many
I
flaws.
didn't mention that.
Ironically, the best episodes of that show are the ones that have Mandalorian in it. But even then, I think those episodes just fundamentally are flawed because they shouldn't be here. That should be like the start of the next season. Like I think you should have an entire season of him kind of at least a couple episodes of a whole season of him kind of on his own figuring out who he is without Grogu, realizing this is not who he wants to be, and go from there. But
Right.
instead, you force it to be part of the Boba Fett show, which people have actually been anticipating since before the Mandalorian came out. Because when Mandalorian came out, we were like, why isn't this a Boba Fett show? Why isn't this random guy that we don't even know? And then that show turned out to be really good, at least the first 2 seasons. So then we were all hyped for Boba Fett, and then the Boba Fett parts were disappointing. The Mandalorian part was actually really cool. I guess the climax was fine. And then Ahsoka kind of had similar issues. We're like, oh, we've kind of wanted a show about her, and it's just kind of weird.
Well, and it's kind of just like the issue with Ahsoka is that it's like there's so much. It's more. It feels like it's more about wrapping up Rebels than it is about Ahsoka. Which obviously Ahsoka's in Star Wars Rebels, but she wasn't. I mean, she wasn't one of the main Ghost Crew like people. So I feel like it kind of felt kind of like. I feel like that should have been its own thing.
So you have Book of Boba Fett, which is essentially Mandalorian season 2.5. You have Ahsoka, which is basically Rebels season 6. Season 6. And then you come back to Mandalorian season 3, and they're just the vibe of season 3 is just completely different from season 1 and 2.
Like
it's shot differently. The lighting is different. Like Mando is now all of a sudden like all gung ho on going back to his roots, and actually like I feel like all the lessons he learned from season 1 and 2 about like going away from the code, which was explicitly stated even in the book of the Boba Fett episodes, of like, you're not a Mandalorian anymore. You can kind of do whatever you want. Like Grogu is more important. And like, no, actually, I want to be a Mandalorian, and actually, this is going to be Bo-Katan's show from now on. Like,
yeah, that was rough. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like, why?
Yeah. So, like, even if this movie had come out a year after season 3, back in 2024, I don't know if that would even like really been a good place for it. I don't know if it's because so much time has passed that people are kind of down on the show, or if after a year people would still be relatively hyped for it. But regardless, 3 years after your last season, and the production value of this doesn't look that much better than the actual show,
right?
I don't really know how to feel about it.
Yeah, it's and I think all that together, plus just kind of not being like, I feel like people have collectively kind of checked out about Mandalorian, and then this trailer doesn't make people want to check back in. At least the first one doesn't really. Yeah. And it's kind of just like, I feel like now, even if it is really good, it's kind of been set up to fail. And I feel like if this movie doesn't necessarily bomb, I would say, because I don't think they're expecting. Oh, I don't know. They might be expected to make a lot of money, but I don't.
Yeah, it has over $150 million budget, so it should make at least 300 something to,
I mean, which profitable. I think it will, because I think just on name brand alone. But I feel like anyone who doesn't work for Disney / Lucasfilms doesn't expect anything from this movie, and yeah, because I'm like, I mean. No one, like when we're talking about the big movies this year, it's not mentioned at all.
It's Dune,
like
it's Avengers, it's Spider-Man, it's some people
Spider-Man,
Toy Story.
Odyssey's gonna be big.
Odyssey,
like all these,
Supergirl's a toss-up. Like,
not even like a thought.
No.
Like, oh yeah, isn't that just gonna go straight? Like that feels like that's gonna be on streaming in a month. Or at least it should be. I don't think it will because they have too much pride. But
yeah,
the way it performs, it probably will look that way.
Like, especially with like, when is the actual release date? Because if it's early May,
isn't it like May 22nd? I think.
Oh, that's because June is stacked. I don't remember everything, but I know there's a lot of stuff happening in June. I know Toy Story, Supergirl. I think that Minions movie.
Toy Story. Yeah, it's May 22nd is the release date.
Uh, well, maybe it's July 1st, but there's several movies, big movies coming out in June that is, at least for a good portion of its run, if its time in theater is going to be competing directly against. So if it doesn't come out of the gate with at least 150 million opening weekend, then I don't think it has a chance of breaking even.
Nah, I don't think so either. There's a lot of stuff coming out this year, and I feel like I don't know. Yeah, I even forgot about Toy Story 5. I'm not gonna lie, and that one
Yeah.
I know is gonna do well because
Hmm.
it's Toy Story. But I'm like, there's just so much going out. I forgot about it.
Yeah, especially since this is the first Star Wars movie to released after Rise of Skywalker.
Whew. Again, the bar's not high, but still.
It's not. I don't think you can be a worse movie than Rise of Skywalker, but I'm kind
Oh,
of afraid of
definitely.
it being a similar movie to Solo, which is
Yes.
depressingly boring.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely giving Solo vibes like leading up to its release. Because I remember even when people kind of were like, "What?
Yeah, should I care
Why?"
about this?
Like this was not the character we wanted the backstory on.
No, Max we got didn't really work. It wasn't egregious. There have been other prequel stuff that are worse, even within Star Wars. But it, it just didn't do anything interesting outside of the I'm blanking on his name. Childish Gambino. What is his name?
Donald
Uh,
Glover.
yeah, yeah.
Landos.
Yeah, it was Lando.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's like it's like Donald Glover playing Billy D. Williams, playing Lando
Yeah,
Calrissian.
that was good.
Felt like he was doing more Billy D stuff than the actual Lando stuff.
Hmm. So that's fine. I, j- I don't know. I want the movie to be good because I think Mandalorian as a concept has potential, and I think there is some stuff in this trailer that does show potential, like his helmet being forcefully removed. I'm interested to see what Sigourney Weaver's character is gonna be like because we only seen that one scene of her at the table. Like she's for some reason to me is kind of giving the vibe of a twisted villain. I don't really know exactly why. I just feel like we don't really know exactly who the big bad or what the big conflict is going to be. So if she is sending him on this mission or advising somehow, maybe she's involved with either involved with the villain or it's actually the main bad guy.
Hmm.
I guess it's cool to see the Huts again, but I don't know. I feel like that concept also a little overdone after Boba Fett. Um, uh, yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, want to be excited, but it's also coming out in 3 months, and I have not.
Mm,
I'm not. I don't.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Another thing I
just,
think kind of annoyed me about the way this trailer was presented. As the trailer was starting, it didn't start by playing a version of the Mandalorian theme. It started
mm,
by playing the Star Wars song.
yes.
I don't think it was the Force theme, but a rendition of the opening credits of a Star Wars song.
Mm,
And I don't know what to make of that because this isn't like Rogue One where it's directly connected to another a direct prequel to an actual episode Star Wars movie, but that movie didn't even have the actual John Williams score. That movie had its own little had a song that sounded kind of like it, but not actually. So
mm.
if you're especially since the Mandalorian theme is, I believe, a fairly iconic theme, I feel like you don't need to like you know, like every second of the show doesn't need to be like this is a Star Wars thing. Like we know it's Star Wars. Baby Yoda, we get it. I think R2D2 was also there in the first like first couple of seconds of this trailer. Like if maybe that was just another astromech, but I thought it like am I right that that was R2D2?
Yeah,
Like
I mean, it's fine. I mean, like I, I think again, I think this is them hearing people being like, that didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. That felt like an episode of Mandalorian. So they're kind of like trying to lean into, oh, you remember this from Star Wars movies?
okay, I get it.
You know that's a Star Wars movie. You know what I mean? Like, which like I get it. You kind of like not overcorrect, but you kind of lean more in that direction when you hear what the critics are saying. But so I feel like that movie, that music was probably added
Oh yeah,
after they heard like the feedback from the first trailer, in my opinion.
that's fair. Yeah, and I guess you do need to like for people who are watching this like rather as a YouTube ad in the first couple,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, I know that song, I know that droid. Oh, baby, like Yoda, like yeah, okay, I know what this is now. Like because you know
Yeah.
people have such low attention span nowadays, you gotta like catch them in the first couple of seconds or
Right.
else they'll dip.
Right.
Um, especially in a YouTube ad when you can skip up for 5 seconds. You have to. Oh wow. Okay, that was a very tactical choice, and I regrettably understand why they did it, but whatever.
Like that. Like I see now what they were doing. Nah, see, it's like that. You know what I mean? Like you know how marketing go. Like you know what
Oh, I
they're
know.
doing. Like he's like, I better.
Whatever. I want it to do well, but I'm also not exactly clamoring to put it onto my fantasy critic. So
I. My gut tells me it's gonna be not terrible, but it's not gonna do well.
I'm
Is
gonna make
what
a
my
bold
guess.
prediction that I'm probably gonna way overshoot. This movie has a hard cap at 550 million, no higher than that.
I can see that because just like
Solo did
off.
400 something. It's not
Yeah,
going to do much more than Solo if it does any more at
yeah,
all.
but and I feel like because I don't even think this even has like the words Star Wars in the name, does it?
Uh,
Isn't just the Mandalorian Grogu?
huh.
Which like I know the Mandalorian's like kind of because the show's been big for a while. Like people know if you know you know, but like you know what I mean. People aren't just gonna be like, oh, Star Wars, I'm gonna see that.
Yeah, the logo has Star Wars in like little text above Mandalorian, but it like
Yeah,
the
but I mean
title
like the
isn't.
actual title. Like if I'm just looking at the titles.
Yeah, it's not like Mandalorian and Grogu, a Star Wars story like Rogue One or
Right.
Solo
Which
was.
I feel like even when they did, you know, Solo first, a Star Wars show, that even did kind of probably hurt them a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, not that they should have called it a Star Wars story Solo. I feel like that would have also. I don't know how you word that exactly to make it more appealing, but I feel like if the first words aren't Star Wars, then it kind of
yeah.
throws it off. Because wasn't it Star Wars? Is it Star Wars Rogue One, or is it just called Rogue One?
Is Rogue One a Star Wars story?
Okay, maybe. Well, I don't know. Dang it. Well, how did
Well,
that?
that movie that movie is I think most of it is very good. The first like
Yes,
30
agreed.
minutes is a little boring, but the rest of it's very good.
There's a lot
Even
of you
despite
said
the
about a lot of
reshoots
Star Wars
and
movies.
yeah. Two, it was the like after Force Awakens made over $2 billion. This is the first movie after that in a year where
Yeah,
other movies also made a lot of money in that prime December spot that Force Awakens did really well in, so that helped there. So there was just a lot going right for that movie specifically. It also like had such hard ties directly to another Star Wars movie that they could
yes.
like put that in the
They
advertising of
literally
like
picked
this is
up
a
right
prequel
where
to a
it
movie you
like.
really like.
Yeah, and they had Darth Vader in it, so
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah.
of
I don't
seals
remember
the
how
deal.
much they were advertising him specifically, but he was part of it for sure.
I know they had the breathing in the first trailer. I think I
Yes.
remember.
And
Which,
the Death Star being finished was also like a big shot of the disc. Like,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. So I mean, but still, regardless. Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like this movie's cap around 500 is probably a solid cap where this is going to end up. Not that that's a direct reflection of how good or bad it's going to be, but I feel like just between feeling the vibes for Mandalorian just kind of just have died down.
Yeah.
I feel like yeah, that's probably because honestly, I feel like because like is this like it? Do we even know? Is this it for Mandalorian? Like, is there going to be another season? Like,
As far as
we
we
don't
know
know.
right now, as far as I understand, I could be wrong. They were originally writing a season 4, but they decided to rework it into a movie. So I
Okay,
don't know like if they have any ideas after this. I don't think Mando's gonna die by the end, but I do think.
nah.
Well, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I do know that um, there's like there's a Thrawn like crossover project thing happening at some point potentially. That's gonna be a movie. Like I don't know if it's gonna or like what all is gonna be involved with that, but I know it to like, take place after Ahsoka season 2, which is coming at some point, probably next year. And I don't know if Mando is going to be involved in that. I feel like he probably should, since he kind of, spearheaded Ahsoka's reintroduction into that world. But I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, but because it is kind of like the, I guess, Mandoverse, kind of, it feels
Kinda.
like, but I don't know. We'll see. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, real considering how long Mando episodes are and how long the seasons are, condensing it into one movie feels like they cut out a lot.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, I'm not. I don't think they went strictly from episodes to movie, but I'm like, it sounds like you didn't have like you only had one thing you really wanted to do this season, if that's the case.
Because even like the denser episodes, like the Krayt Dragon episode from season 2, that was like 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So assuming this movie is, average 2025, 2026 movie length that is 2 hours and 20 minutes, which, probably going to be, that's like 3, maybe 4 episodes of a show. So, maybe they like, maybe because they're making it, movie length, maybe since they know that they have a shorter time period to work with, it will be, more focused and it won't like just feel like multiple episodes stitched together and it won't feel like we're rushing because they have all these ideas they want to throw in there. But yeah, I don't know.
Guess we'll have to see. I don't know, but yeah, not super sold, but hey, it could surprise us.
It could. Okay. I kind of touched on this before, but like, are you at all worried about the fact that we didn't actually get a trailer for Brand New Day at the Super Bowl?
Worried as in like they're panicking, or worried as in it might get moved back?
Well, it's not going to move. That's not going to happen. I'm more so like, because the marketing campaign for I'm pretty sure the marketing campaign for Far From Home started in December of 2018.
Far
Yeah,
from home,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure
yeah,
we got
because
our
that
first
was
like the
right
first like
after
little teaser
Avengers.
like 6 months before the movie came out.
Yeah, but wasn't that the first movie after Infinity War though?
It First movie after Endgame, yes.
Oh, Endgame. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The like they actually had a trailer, like a new trailer for Far From Home, like a couple days after Endgame that spoiled the fact that Iron Man died. Um, but I know there was like some kind of teaser before that happened. So I'm just, you know, there's I feel like this movie specifically because it is a new era of this Spider-Man. I feel like there's going to be a lot that this movie can ask to like prove. There's a lot. There's at least more that it has to like kind of uh, what's the word like? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Um,
Like it's
I
gonna
feel like
explain a lot.
yeah, I feel like there's also from leaks and reports and stuff. There's just going to be a lot happening in this movie. I'm just a little surprised that we're March, April, May, June, 5 months out. We haven't gotten like any actual footage outside of like a couple of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, which really isn't anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think worried is the right word because I'm like, this movie's gonna make $1 billion. Like, I'm not.
Oh. Oh yeah.
It's not
I
like
feel
it's
very
gonna
confident with
Spider.
that in my fantasy league.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's like the movie's gonna be great. Like, I'm not worried. I think it's different that they're kind of because I mean we already have trailers for. Granted, it's an Avengers movie, but we already got Doomsday stuff, and that's not coming out until December.
Right.
So it does kind of feel like we're kind of like, hey, how do we have stuff for him, but you don't have stuff for me? But
It
I
is
think it's more
Sony
just
doing
an
the
interesting
marketing. So
choice.
that's the main thing here is that yes, we do have Avengers stuff, but that's Marvel proper, whereas Sony has distribution rights, so they have the marketing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm also like, how hard do you really need to market a Spider-Man movie in 2026?
I, I
Especially with,
guess no.
you know, I mean, we're still running with Tom. Like, it's still Tom
Hmm.
Holland. Like, yeah, it's supposedly we're changing it up. It's going to be different. I'm like, it's still Tom Holland. It's still, connected to the MCU. So, like, people are still all in.
Yeah, I guess there's also that little wrinkle of the fact that like the MCU isn't in the overall best place. Even movies that I think were very good, like Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, didn't make nearly as much as they should.
Yes, that's
Like my
true.
predictions for Fantastic Four were 720-ish at a low end, and it made 200 less than that. And Thunderbolts made 200 less than that.
Yes,
So
that's a crime.
yeah, that's a travesty. And I know
Yeah,
that Spider-Man is a significantly bigger name than those,
it is. Like, by a lot.
and like there's a very high chance that like because of people's associations with Spider-Man as a concept before the MCU started, that may not like really associate him with the like quote unquote stink of the MCU that some people try to say it has. So I'm not necessarily worried about it like being bogged down by being in the MCU, but I still feel like that's another thing this movie needs to like prove to the audience that yeah, a lot of superhero movies nowadays can be a little disappointing, but this one definitely isn't. So, and I hope it's not. But I don't know, I don't know, mostly I just want to see a trailer.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of odd that we don't have anything for it yet, but I mean, it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll like, they might, just bring it all up at once or in Sony fashion, spoil something big in the trailer, and then
Oh
everyone's
yeah.
like, what? And then,
Hmm.
go from there. But I think the movie itself is going to be just fine. I think it's just, they're just
Yeah.
taking their time for whatever reason.
Right. All right. Well, speaking of Spider-Man stuff, we got our first trailer for the Spider-Man Noir show on Amazon, starring Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, who's not the same Spider-Man Noir from the Spider-Verse movies, but pretty much the same character,
Yeah, basically.
just in live action now. What were your thoughts?
This is gonna be wild. like, like
Yeah.
it's. I love how it's got the like noir, all black and white. It's got the like
Mm.
you know mystery noir esque vibes to it. Nick Cage is just doing Nick Cage things, and it looks. I'm very much like this is. kind of a unique take we're doing. We're kind of just going with it, and I really like it because I feel like we're doing something new. And I don't know, it could be like it gives cult classic
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah. I like that it has the both black and white and a colored version. I'm gonna watch it in black and white because that's I feel like the
Yes,
like intended version of it. But
absolutely.
the colored one that also looks, I think like visually looked pretty good. Um, yeah, I don't really like have a lot to say about it because it was just I don't really know
They didn't
like
really give us a lot.
yeah, like, I don't know what like I guess it's a like more of a Spider-Man detective story, which is cool.
Yeah.
I have it was a little interesting that in that like in the like last half of it there was that like the like title cards that were like with no power comes no responsibility.
Yeah, I thought that was
But
interesting.
but I assume that this Spider-Man has some kind of power. We saw him swinging around, so I got to imply he has some kind of enhanced ability.
Maybe it's just not the same level of powers we're used to with Spider-Man. So it's
Maybe,
like, it's like, oh well, yeah, he can't like lift a bus. So
yeah, yeah. I am very excited for like Nick Cage monologues, just
yes.
going
So
like noir style monologue with Nick. Like Nick, like, he's gonna crush those.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Nick Cage has been thinking about this his whole life. So I think that really helps because he's just
Yes.
like, yes, I wanna just do my thing. I wanna, do this a lot on screen, like everything.
Yep. Yeah. What was the release date on that?
It was
Release date.
let's see.
May. Oh, May
Yep,
25th. Okay.
that's the same day as Mandalorian. Oh no,
Eh,
Mandalorian's May 22nd.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're doing the thing where they're releasing all the episodes at once
Oh, awesome.
on.
Okay. Amazon Prime. Oh, so it's the 27th on
Okay.
Amazon. What is
Okay.
MGM Plus Premiere? Huh.
Okay. So I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I'm just gonna say the 27th.
We will be able to watch it on the 27th because no
There
one
it
has
is.
MGM Premiere, so I don't think
Yeah,
it'll be
I've never even
spoiled
heard of
though.
this. I'm like, I've never even heard of that. So we're just
I know that
gonna.
Amazon bought the rights to MGM Studios like 4 or 5 years ago, and they have like MGM had their own little streaming service, and I guess this is what that is. And maybe Sony sold the distribution rights to MGM, but since Amazon owns them, they can kind of claim it. I'm not sure,
Yeah, I mean,
but regardless, cut in May, so that's cool.
should be something.
All right, one more Marvel thing. I know you said you haven't seen any of this yet, but I've watched
Mm.
about half of the Wonder Man show so far, and I'm not gonna like majorly spoil anything, but I really dig this show. It's
Oh,
like it has such a different vibe from anything we've seen before, and I've seen some people kind of be down on it a little bit because there's like no action and like nothing, is not what we expected from a Marvel thing, but like in no part of it in any of its marketing or anything did it like present itself as your typical Marvel thing, and I'm very okay with that. Like Um, but at the same time, it is still progressing the like story of the MCU in a way that I feel they probably should have been doing more of this, uh, more of stuff like this. Because like the main, I guess, conflict up to where I am right now is the fact that the Department of Damage Control is is still out there, like basically trying to like persecute enhance individuals, and they're targeting Wonder Man, who is trying to well, he's an actor who is trying to get the role of Wonder Man in a movie being produced in the show.
Right.
um, but the most recent episode I watched is episode 4, and it's essentially a like a backstory episode for why enhanced individuals aren't allowed to be actors anymore. And it's I believe, quite frankly, a very, very well done, like, character study, like, just one off episode about this other guy who, who developed this power to, like, basically like create portals like in his body, let you like pass through him and like bring basically like pull
Like the
stuff out of like
Spot.
hammer space and kind of essentially the Spot, but he's not the Spot. Like that's the same basic power, yeah.
Okay.
And like there was and he kind of accidentally got this acting role, and then he hit the big time, and then like he started to sell out, and then he like due to some like tragic accident on a set, he like was banned from acting, and then all other supers were banned from there on. And it's done completely in black and white, and it's just very, I think, very interesting. However, even though that was my favorite episode of the show up to that point, and it did technically progress the story of like the greater lore of the show, I couldn't help but think the entire time of like, this is really cool. But this is an entire episode of an 8-episode series. It's a really good episode of this 8-episode series, but our main character is barely in it. Our main character only showed up at the very, very end. Like, basically, ended with him, so like kind of still in the flashback of him watching a news report of them announcing that, oh yeah, Hollywood has said that no more superheroes can work in, can work. So, and he's like, oh no, I'm sad now. So, like, if this were a, character piece of like a, more traditional show, you know, standard syndication of like, of 20 something episodes, I'd be all for it. Like that, I would have no qualms with it. There's a very similarly paced episode of Better Call Saul, which which um, which is also in black and white. All the episodes of Better Call Saul, which or all the parts that take place like basically post the ending of Breaking Bad, also are all in black and white. And there's a very interesting character piece episode of him, like of Saul, like befriending the security guard and like kind of like buttering it up and distracting him while his crew like basically like raids a mall. And it's I think a very good episode. I remember even at the time, um, I wasn't like watching the show at the time, but I was still like getting people on Twitter like talking about it. I remember at the time people being a little disappointed in that episode because it didn't really like we had this big climactic moment with the previous episode, and then it's this character study episode which doesn't really progress the plot. Sure, it like shows that Saul actually hasn't changed after everything, but like we kind of already knew that. So people were kind of down on that episode. But that was one out of, I believe, 16 episodes of that season.
Right.
So it's not
So it didn't
nearly
feel
as
as
bad.
big of a loss.
Yeah. Whereas this is, one episode out of a 8 episode season. And I wouldn't be surprised if, because that episodes exist, if that is the reason why they released all 8 episodes all at the same time. Because if I'm not mistaken, if they had been releasing them weekly, even if they did a 2 episode premiere, I believe it premiered on the 28th. So 2, 3, 4. We would be getting the episode after that one tonight. So people would watch that episode. They might like it, but they maybe wouldn't like fully vibe with it, and then have to. I don't know if that would be enough to make people come back for the next episode, which is tonight. So maybe it's for the best that they went ahead and dropped them all at the same time. But also, at this point, I'm no longer hearing people even mention Wonder Man on Twitter. Like maybe maybe I'm just not seeing it, but like people talked about it a lot when it first came out, like first week or two, and now I haven't heard anything. So I don't know if releasing all 8 episodes at the same time is worth it for this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it's really hard to tell like what shows were going to benefit more from just releasing it all at once versus like weekly because it's like you don't really know how people are going to perceive it. Like it's like, hey, is this show going to be a slam dunk hit that we want people to talk about for a long time? Because you don't want to do the thing where you like start it. You don't want to do the Invincible where you start it and then you pause and then you keep going. But you also don't want to do the thing where like, yeah, you're like you have a show that would have been talked about for months, but because you release it all at once, it's only being talked about for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of those cases, but I also feel like this kind of felt like one of those shows that easily could have potentially overstayed its welcome just based off of like the initial hype measurements for it because it kind of feel kind of like when Echo came out and we're kind of like, yeah, I think this is one of those it just all comes out at one shows, not a week to week versus like Loki or WandaVision where people are like glued to their screen every week waiting for this to come out.
Yeah. Echo absolutely made the right choice because
yes,
it's their own fault. Most of the marketing was about the fact that Kingpin and Deadpool or Daredevil were going to be coming back, and Daredevil showed up in the first episode.
yes.
So, considering every shot of Daredevil from the trailer was in that first episode, I guarantee a lot of people would have dipped after that first episode and not watched the rest of it. Even though, Kingpin did come back for more episodes after that, but like, I don't think if you're there for Daredevil, even though it's not
disappointed
an Echo show, you would be disappointed with the rest of it. But I don't. Yeah, I Wonder Man is definitely not a character I would have like even been thinking about. Like Moon Knight, I knew that character. I would have, I theoretically would have been very hyped for a Moon Knight show. I think that show ended up being a little disappointing. Whatever. Even She-Hulk, like a weekly attorney drama, it's set where dramedy set in the MCU. I think that is a solid idea. Again, I think it could have been a little better, but it's not the worst thing ever. Agatha is a sequel to a fan favorite character from a fan favorite series. Like that makes sense to go weekly. But yeah, I think this being all at once probably for the best.
Yeah, but I mean, So you think they should have just gone like week by week for this show?
No, sorry. For this show, I think dropping all at once was probably the
Oh, you
best
think that
idea.
was the right choice? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good then.
Like, I still think you should definitely watch it. I think there's a lot of good stuff, at least the half of the show that I've seen so far. Um, it's again not at all like any other Marvel show or Marvel project that I've seen, and I think it's kind of better for it. However, if you are expecting something like the Falcon Winter Soldier or Loki or Moon Knight or any other like more traditional Marvel shows, then it's definitely not going to be that. But also, you should enjoy it for what it is. So, yeah.
Okay.
The last little bit of news that I have is the Muppet Show had their big revival uh, episode a few weeks back, and it was delightful. uh, I love the Muppets. Um, just every single thing about their style and vibe, and just everything about them just appeals to me so much. Um, and this little 30-minute special is just a very very good episode of it's not even a thing where like it was like, oh, modernized for the time with like with like Gen Z slang and a bunch of like modern references and stuff. Like outside of a couple of like jokes between Miss Piggy, Kermit, and Sabrina Carpenter, there weren't really like there weren't really anything that was like, oh, dated or wouldn't like be considered timeless. Like I think it's just a very good episode of the Muppet Show, and um, the like conceit with this is that it's essentially a pilot for a new like some kind of Muppet Show series where ideally if the show was received well, and it looks like it did. It's been streamed over 8 million times in the week, at least as far as like within the week after it came out. So that's I think a
Wow.
very good number. Like they were
Yeah.
willing to like release that number, which probably means they're happy with it. A lot of other Muppets stuff on Disney is seeming to like like being viewed more. So clearly the energy around just Muppets as a concept is going up. Um, so yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what form the Muppet show takes because um like like I said, I really liked this episode. However, I'll kind of like the through line for the episode was like, oh, this is our big revival and we're going to try really hard to make sure that we stick around this time. And like the thing that the Muppet Show does a lot is they kind of have like like Saturday Night Live, like little like segments, like little like sketches, and then
Right.
they'll also Muppets will also have like, oh, here's what's happening behind the scenes, like uh Kermit is just like struggling to try to get all make sure like all the acts are straight and make sure like everyone is prepared and stuff. But this time, because it was like the first one back, like it's very disorganized. Kermit accidentally like overbooked the show. Like there was a lot of people who didn't actually get to perform really. Like it was very hectic in a very satisfying way. Um, but I'm curious to see like when that kind of energy isn't there because it is actually back now. You don't need to like quote unquote act as desperate to like to you don't need to act as desperate. I'm wondering how that'll look in future episodes. So yeah, this is good. I hope we get more, and I hope it's more is also good. So hey,
Cool.
mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Muppets. They're back.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all. That's everything I have. Is there anything else you want to discuss?
I don't think so. I think that's everything I've got. Trying to, no, that's all I got.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.
You need to blow my nose.
See how long you hold that one in.